Quest 3 is the newest addition to the popular series, an action-adventure RPG in a world full of cats. As of the 8th of August, which just so happens to be International Cat Day, this newest release will be available on Nintendo Switch, Xbox, PlayStation, and Steam. And thank you so much to the team at Kepler Interactive for providing me with a review code. In this world full of cats, you yourself play as a cat, specifically something known as a seeker. As a kitten, your ship was attacked by the mighty Pirate King, and you were left an orphan. Taken in by a ghostly figure, you become best friends and a few years later set off on an adventure to find a mystical treasure known as the Northern Star, which is said to grant immense power. In your hunt for this treasure, you'll meet a bunch of characters, some friend and some foe, which you'll need to both fight your way through and help out in order to locate this Northern Star. There's a surprising amount of character development here and a lot of really wholesome moments that make for a really lovely and fulfilling story. Also, I hope you like puns because this game is absolutely filled to the brim with them. I tried to find a good cat pun to put in here, but it was a catastrophe. I'm sorry. Based in the Caribbean, in this adventure, you'll sail across several small islands filled with dungeons, bosses, quests, treasure, and more. There is one main larger island here that has a small town, and several others scattered around that you'll need to explore. Now, if you're into games with collections to complete, you've come to the right place. Each island here has a certain number of treasure chests to find. Some of these can be unlocked by completing puzzles, others are hidden, and some are just right out in the open for the taking. As you collect these chests, the map will tick off when islands are complete, which I love. In your inventory as well, you'll be able to see how much equipment you have left to collect, as well as seeing quest items ticked off if they've been used. Loved it. There are also several dungeons scattered around on the various islands, each with their own sort of theme. So there's a cave, a sort of music venue one, a golden dungeon filled with treasure, just to name a few. And these dungeons also have their own treasure chests to find and collect and will also be ticked off on the map when they've been completed. These dungeons are always straightforward, generally having a single path to follow. Any puzzles here are pretty easy to complete and I never got stuck at any point. When you come across puzzles in this game, there's usually the answer or at least a very strong hint very close by and easy to find, so there's no frustrating gameplay or angry Googling. The chests you'll find in these various locations are filled with equipment, coins, and magic pieces. There's so many different pieces of equipment to collect, from headgear, clothing, ranged weapons, close combat weapons, and trinkets. These can all provide you with different stats, such as increased health, armor, strength, and magic, while also being able to give you different abilities, such as doing damage if you roll into an enemy, or giving you additional ammo and stuff like that. So wearing a combination of this equipment can provide you with completely different builds, in addition to which spells you choose to equip. To traverse these islands, you'll get a little ship that you can hop in and sail around on. Your ship can also be equipped with abilities, and these can give you things like more health and armor similar to your character, as well as different types of ammo. So you can really customize your character here to suit your style. I personally really like to dodge in combat quite a bit and then spam the attack shortly after, so having the ability to deal damage while I dodged into enemies was super helpful to me. I also chose equipment with a lot of health and armor bonuses, so by the end of my game I rarely went below half health. The combat itself is quite a big part of this game, and despite not always liking it this way in games, I found it really enjoyable here. Your attacks are nice and quick, and it's easy to switch between weapons as well, so overall it's kind of just really fast paced and fun to do. I never got to a point later in the game where I was actively avoiding combat because I was over it, and by the time I got to the later point in the game I was super OP anyway, so it just kept being fun. I will note that at the start of your game it is easy to go to the wrong area and get absolutely destroyed by enemies. There's no sort of level indications on what islands you should visit first. You kind of just have to learn as you go and backpedal to another area if you find it a bit too hard. There is an easy mode to this game, so if combat is a bit too difficult or you just kind of want to focus on the story, then that option is there if you need it. Ship combat is quite similar here as well, with the option to shoot cannons and then dodge out of the way of incoming attacks. Normally I find ship to ship combat super difficult, or at least it gets very boring very quickly, But again, in Cat Quest 3, I was able to focus on my ship health here, and because I kind of made my ship super OP in the end by having these really awesome overpowered cannons, I didn't find it getting boring either. There is a vast array of characters to meet here, including several bosses, each with their own sort of style or theme, and of course the many puns that they will use. And many of these encounters are funny as well. Not only that, but as you have some wanted posters of these bad guys, I was generally curious to meet them and find out where they were hiding, which I found added to the excitement of the game and the exploration. There is one small town in this world which has 3 shops that you can visit. There's a milk bar which has these wanted posters of the main bosses throughout the world. Again, I found it just so fun to seek these guys out and interact with them. And the rewards weren't bad either. There's also a blacksmith to upgrade your armor and weapons, and a magic shop to upgrade your spells. Armor and weapons can also be upgraded as you find duplicates in the world in treasure chests, which I really appreciated. It kept exploration very rewarding even when you think you've found your ultimate build or you've collected mostly everything. If you put in the effort for this game, you can get extremely powerful. Along with the handful of NPCs in these shops and the bosses, you'll also find a few other characters scattered around that can offer you some side quests, which generally provide some very nice, unique equipment that makes it totally worth it. There's a fishing quest, mail delivery, fighting monsters, and more. So a really decent variety for such a small game. Obviously, the game looks amazing. While it's relatively simple, there's a lot of detail in the world and the characters. The soundtrack as well, I really loved. Definitely one of the better ones I've listened to this year. This is one of those games where everything feels like it's done with a purpose, nothing feels repeated or put in just to make additional content. This is a short game, being about 10 to 15 hours long, but everything has its place and it generally feels like a nice quality passion project type of game. Also, which from everything I've seen from the team that has made this game, that is definitely the case. I do wish it was longer. I really did enjoy my time with this game and I felt when it was coming to an end and it made me very sad. But I would also prefer a shorter game than something that was longer but was lower quality. I also really appreciated that after a quick storytelling intro, the game just dives right into it. There's no sort of tutorial mode, you just kind of learn as you go, and because the controls are just so simple, it doesn't take long to learn at all. So just super quick to start up the game and get straight into it. Cat Quest 3 is just such a cute pun-filled game. Not being linked to the first 2 games either, so you can go in totally blind, just like me, not having played the first or the second one. And I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. Although I will say after playing this one, I'm now eyeing off the first 2 as I kind of want to give them a go now. This is a short but fun and relaxing game with lots of things to collect, some really great writing and storytelling, and a beautiful world to explore. Also, for those who like to collect achievements such as myself, all of the achievements are really achievable. All of the achievements are really simple and straightforward to get. There's no ridiculous one like having to complete the game on hard mode or silly things like that. So definitely a good one to play as well if you want 100% and get all of the achievements. So yeah, I highly recommend this one if it sounds like your type of game. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you in the next one. Bye!